What's up, guys? It's your boy Andy. I know I haven't dropped any videos in a while, but I've been fishing some kind of low-key secret spots. I've got really good video, but I'm not ready to show it to the world. So quick disclaimer, there's going to be no edits, no advanced techniques in this video. This is more about a video for people who are either new to Las Vegas or just new to fishing in general. I'm trying to help you guys be able to guarantee catching fish. So just, so if you've been skunked, you're looking to beat that skunk, this is going to be a good video for you. So I've spent a lot of time getting skunked out there, so you guys don't have to. So really quick side note, got this cool hat. I'm going to be wearing it every time I'm out fishing. It's actually my mom's second cousin, like a policeman who makes these fishing hats in their spare time. So it's got my mom's last name, and it says fishing, and it's got the flag of Maryland, which is where I lived before I moved out here to Vegas. So I'll be rocking this bad boy out. So welcome to Vegas. Welcome to fishing. Fishing in Vegas does not suck. It's the desert, and you think it might be terrible, but it's actually pretty epic. There are some really, really amazing spots. So congratulations. The fishing could be much worse in other places. So first thing I would say is check out some of the Facebook groups. It's going to help you a lot in kind of just figuring out what people are catching fish on and kind of like what areas in general as well. So Real Vegas Fishing Crew is my favorite group right now on Facebook. Also the Las Vegas Fishing Club, as well as Battleborn Anglers. So those are some good groups to check out. So there's also a striper club as well. I think it's Nevada Striper Club. So those are all good groups. Check them out, see what's your speed, and try to get some knowledge from there. A lot of sometimes you can just see the picture of the lure in the fish's mouth, and that can help you out a lot because you're like, oh, I've been targeting this species and I've been throwing dark colors. Here's this guy catching them, on silver or white. So speaking of that, if you're fishing Lake Mead, primarily you're going to be throwing something silver, white, kind of blackish on the top, something that resembles a shad. That's their main diet. That's what they're going to be eating the majority of the time. So if you're specifically kind of a lure fisherman, try to get that lure in kind of a silverish, blackish kind of color and see if that's going to work for you. Otherwise, I'll break out a bunch of lures for different kind of seasons. So pretty much I'm going to break up 4-month clips of time and describe kind of what's happening in those months and the best places to go to get fish. So first I'm going to start with year-round stuff. You can catch carp year-round, and carp are really strong fish. They put up a really strong fight. I've got some very strong double-digit carps from the shore at Lake Mead. You just rig up a simple drop shot rig with a weight on the bottom. Hook up probably 4 or 5, 6 inches up from that. Load that hook up with kernels of corn, just regular corn. Grab a couple handfuls of corn and throw that out into the water. And then cast your corn hook into that corn. So you can take 2 poles, cast both those poles into your corn chum. Make sure your drag is turned down really low because carp are strong and they will pull your pole right into the water and you'll have a bad time. So turn down your drag really low and then just kind of sit back and chill and wait for the fish to come to you. You'll start hearing your line screaming off the reel. Tighten your drag, set the hook, and enjoy the fight. You can do that year round. I was catching double-digit carp in December with 25 plus mile-an-hour winds when there's nothing else to be found. So believe it or not, you can actually catch rainbow trout pretty much year-round out here. It's kind of tougher in the summer, but there are still places that have it. Willow Beach, Colorado River, they dump 1,000 trout there pretty much every Friday. If the weeds are up, they won't dump as regularly because the trout will die off. So keep that in mind. But if you want to just go catch some trout, you hit Willow Beach. There's a fishing pier there right by the fishing hatchery. A lot of people throw power bait. I prefer to throw like a Mepps Aglia or a Copper Super Duper. I find I can cover more ground and catch more fish than just throwing it out and letting it sit and waiting for a fish to swim by. So yeah, trout and carp, you can get them year round. And if you're new to fishing, I recommend going for carp. They're really fun. They're really strong. They taste like crap, in my opinion. A lot of people don't like carp. There's a stigma about carp. They say they're like nasty fish, whatever. I think they're a strong fish. They're a tough fish. and that makes them cool to me just because it's a great fight. So you know, I don't eat carp, but some people do, and you know, if you do, more power to you. So a couple techniques you can use basically year round, other than like the hard winter. You can fish with anchovies. So what a lot of people do is either throw them on a drop shot rig, throw them on a bobber, kind of like a cork and float kind of deal, or you can just use them as a trailer on your own kind of bait. So if you've got kind of like a jig or a skirt, something like that with a hook, you just put the anchovy right there on the hook, cast it out, and then just reel it in. It puts a little oil slick in the water, and the stripers seem to really like that. A lot of people also recommend using dry ice for the anchovies. It helps them stay on the hook longer. So especially if you're casting them out and reeling them in, you really want to make sure that they're not going to just disintegrate off the hook, because that's not going to be fun. Also trolling. You can troll at varying distances from the shore with your fish finder, with crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, soft plastic, swim baits, kind of stuff like that. And you can definitely catch fish basically year round, other than the hard winter. So those are some kind of general techniques that you can apply to be successful on the bass end. So if you really are diehard bass fishermen, anchovies or trolling is going to be a good bet for you. So the first bracket I have of months here is going to be December to March, and I'm going to kind of rip through these because I don't want to do a super duper long video. You can throw jerk baits in the first part of December and catch bass. Pretty much December, January, and most of February, carp and trout. So those are your decisions. Those are your choices. You can get out there and you can jig up stripers and stuff like that, but it's a lot of time. And if you can't go fishing regularly, you just want to catch fish, focus on carp and trout during those times. So if you want to get some meat, you can go for trout. If you're just looking for a tough fight, go for carp. So there are crappie as well. Come like February, March time. They come in sort of like the north end of the lake. I'm going to tell you exactly where they are. I'm just kidding. So if you want to go for crappie, just use smaller, soft plastics. That helps a lot. And just try to find them in the brush. That's all I can tell you. Those are fish on Lake Mead. Those are really tough to find. You got to earn those fish. So, and then at kind of like the start of March, towards the end of March, you can really do some good finesse fishing. You can also throw some jerk baits kind of February, March, and start getting them as well. So jerk baits will work for you. Finesse fishing will start in March because you can throw kind of, bass will start early spawning. So you can throw Ned rigs, chatter baits. I like to throw Kitech a lot. You can throw a Kitech with an underspin, or you can just throw it on a weighted hook and just kind of bring it in with a simple kind of delicate presentation. And it'll do good work for you. I've caught slams on Kitech, so striper, largemouth, and smallmouth all in the same day. If you're a bait guy and you want to try using some of the like lures out, I recommend adding. In general, I actually recommend adding. I use this stuff called JB's fish sauce. So it's just basically a scent that you spray onto your lure. Puts a little slick in the water and gives you an edge. I prefer garlic. What's cool about garlic is so in big aquariums, at certain points, fish will get depressed and they'll actually stop eating. And what they'll do is they'll chop garlic up and they'll mix it in with their food, and then the fish will start eating again. So fish have an actual natural taste for garlic, and I find garlic works really well on Lake Mead. So if you want to mix some garlic into your life to try to give yourself that edge, if you just feel like you want to kind of go balls to the wall and you really need to try to get fish, give yourself the ultimate chance. Throw a little fish sauce on there. All right, moving on to April and July. So April and July, you get a lot more choices. The spawn starts around this time. Even in March, you go to Mojave, you can get some really big smallmouths. Ned rig in particular. Tony is, I was kind of against the Ned rig, but Tony from Real Vegas Fishing Crew has just put in some crazy work on some giant smallies out of there. So I'm a believer, and I'm going to start throwing the Ned rig a little bit more. I like throwing the chatterbaits for the spawn personally, because it gets in there and it like really wobbles and kind of kicks up dust on their bed, and it kind of ticks the fish off. So you're more likely to get kind of a reaction strike. But if you're bouncing a Ned rig right on their bed, they're going to eat that just the same. Ned rig's great too for kind of a wide variety of species. You can get catfish, stripers, largemouth, smallmouth, a little bit of everything. So if you're really looking to get the bite and kind of learn how to consistently catch fish, and you're willing to invest some time potentially not catching fish right away, try the Ned rig out. Watch videos on it. The only tip I'm going to give you about the Ned rig is when you cast out, make sure to keep your bail open, because if you close your bail, you're going to get a lot less line and you're going to cover less distance on the bottom, which is always bad. All right. So yeah, the key to the spawn is just get your bait onto their beds, cover a lot of ground, and you'll get fish. You can, definitely you can do trolling during April to July. Crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, soft plastic, swim baits. I troll jerk baits sometimes and just kind of give them a pull as I go to see if I can get some random reactions. But that's always a decent way to get on some fish. And just troll varying distances from the shore. Do a pass. If you don't get any bites, go out 20 feet. Do another pass. If you don't get any bites, go somewhere else. So just cover a lot of ground with trolling. That's the key. Cover varying distances. April to July, the fish aren't going to be really that deep, so just stay within 100 yards of shore, and you should be okay. All right. Yeah, finesse fishing is still a good way to beat the skunk during these months as well. So if you spent kind of the early part of March figuring out the Ned rig, it should start paying off for you April, May for sure. The topwater bite's going to start as well, and that is my favorite part of Lake Mead, when the boils start. So boils are basically when a group of stripers start chasing a ball